The year is 2025. The world feels both familiar and new as the city of Washington, D.C. hums with anticipation. The White House, standing tall at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, is about to witness a moment that will be remembered for generations. On this particular evening, the air is thick with expectation, as if the very walls of this historic building know that something extraordinary is about to unfold. Excitement crackles in the air, cameras flash, capturing every moment, every smile, every detail. The press, always eager for a story, gathers in droves, their lenses focused on the entrance, waiting for a glimpse of history in the making. The energy is palpable, a blend of curiosity and celebration, as whispers of tonight's event ripple through the crowd. History is being made at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But this isn't the kind of history that comes with a new administration or a sweeping piece of legislation. Tonight, the story is different. It's about culture, about progress, about the breaking of barriers that have stood for far too long. It's not a new president or a landmark bill. No, tonight the White House welcomes something different, something revolutionary. The grand dining room is being transformed, not just with fine china and crystal glasses, but with a sense of hope and possibility. The staff moves with purpose, aware that they are part of a night that will be talked about for years to come. Tonight, the world meets Chef Christia Santos, the first woman and first person of color to hold the esteemed title of White House Executive Chef. Her appointment is more than a personal achievement, it's a symbol of change, a beacon for those who have ever felt that the highest doors were closed to them. Chef Christia stands in her crisp jacket, the presidential seal gleaming, surrounded by a team that reflects the diversity and spirit of a new America. This isn't just a win for Chef Christia, it's a win for dreamers everywhere. For every young cook who's ever looked at a kitchen and wondered if they could one day lead it. For every immigrant who's crossed oceans in search of opportunity. For every woman who's been told that some jobs are out of reach. Tonight, they all see themselves reflected in her triumph. Her journey, from the bustling streets of Manila to the hallowed halls of American power, is a testament to the power of hard work, passion, and honestly, a pinch of culinary magic. Raised among the vibrant colors and flavors of the Philippines, Christia learned early that food could bring people together, tell stories, and heal hearts. She carried those lessons across continents, facing challenges and setbacks, but never losing sight of her dream. And now, as she steps into the White House kitchen, she brings with her not just recipes, but a legacy of resilience, hope, and the belief that anything is possible. Christia Santos's story is one for the ages. Born and raised in the Philippines, her journey is a testament to the power of unwavering belief. Her story is about more than just food. It's about the audacity to dream big, to embrace your heritage, and to share your gifts with the world. From the bustling markets of Manila to the heart of American power, Christia's path is paved with passion and perseverance. Her story resonates with the millions who dare to dream beyond borders and boundaries. Manila, a city that pulses with life, a symphony of sounds, smells, and vibrant energy. This is where Christia's story begins. Her childhood home, a modest apartment nestled in the heart of the city, was always filled with the intoxicating aromas of Filipino cuisine. The scent of garlic frying in oil, the tangy aroma of adobo simmering on the stove, the sweet perfume of mango and coconut milk. These were the scents of Christia's childhood. These were the flavors that would shape her destiny. In the Philippines, food is more than sustenance. It's love made edible. It's the heart of every celebration, every gathering, every story shared. Christia learned this early on, watching her grandmother, or Lola as she was called, work magic in the kitchen. Lola's kitchen was Christia's first culinary school. It was there, amidst the sizzle of pans and the comforting aroma of spices, that she discovered the power of food to connect, to heal, to bring joy. Leaving the Philippines was a heart-wrenching decision, one that Christia had never imagined she would have to make. The familiar warmth of home, the laughter of her family, and the comforting aroma of her Lola's kitchen had always been her world. But as she stood at the airport clutching her passport and her treasured recipe book, she knew that her journey was about to begin, a journey that would take her thousands of miles away from everything she had ever known. Despite the tears and the uncertainty, Christia knew deep down that America held the key to her culinary dreams. She had spent countless nights imagining herself in a bustling kitchen creating dishes that would make her Lola proud. The thought of new opportunities of learning from the best chefs in the world filled her with hope and excitement, even as fear tugged at her heart. With a suitcase full of hopes, a handful of sentimental keepsakes, and her Lola's handwritten recipe book tucked safely inside, Christia felt both the weight and the promise of her heritage. Each page of that recipe book was a reminder of home, of the flavors and stories that shaped her, and of the promise she made to carry her family's legacy forward. As she took her first steps onto the airplane, Christia took a leap of faith. She left behind the familiar streets of Manila, the faces she loved, and the comfort of her mother tongue. But she carried with her a fierce determination, a belief that this leap would lead her to something greater. The early days in America were tough, far tougher than she had ever imagined. The city was loud and fast, the people hurried and unfamiliar. Her tiny apartment felt cold and empty, a far cry from the bustling, love-filled home she had left behind. Every day was a new challenge, and every night brought a fresh wave of homesickness. The language barrier felt insurmountable at times. Simple tasks like grocery shopping or reading a menu became daunting obstacles. She spent hours with her nose buried in language textbooks, practicing words and phrases, determined to make herself understood in this new world. The city seemed to stretch on forever, its towering buildings and endless streets making her feel small and lost. The noise, the crowds, and the unfamiliar customs often left her feeling overwhelmed and alone, and the longing for home was a constant ache in her heart. She missed her family's voices, the taste of her Lola's adobo, and the comfort of being surrounded by people who understood her without words. Late at night, she would look at old family photos and call home, holding back tears as she listened to familiar voices from across the ocean. But Christia was not one to give up. Each morning she reminded herself why she had come so far. She tied her apron, looked in the mirror, and found strength in her reflection. She was determined to prove to herself, and to everyone back home, that she could make it. She had a dream to chase, a vision of opening her own restaurant and sharing the flavors of the Philippines with the world. She filled notebooks with ideas, recipes, and plans, each page a step closer to her goal, and above all, she carried a promise to her Lola, a promise to honor her memory by keeping their family's culinary traditions alive, no matter how far from home she might be. With unwavering belief in her own abilities, Christia pressed on, ready to face every challenge and turn her leap of faith into a story of triumph. Culinary school was a whirlwind. Christia excelled, her natural talent and unwavering work ethic shining through. She absorbed knowledge like a sponge, mastering techniques, experimenting with flavors, and always staying true to her Filipino roots. Her big break came at a renowned restaurant known for its innovative approach to global cuisine. Christia's unique style, a vibrant fusion of Filipino flavors with modern techniques, took the culinary world by storm. Her dishes were not just food, they were edible stories, each bite a journey to the heart of the Philippines. The news came like a bolt from the blue, a phone call, an invitation, the White House. The president, a strong advocate for diversity and inclusion, had been impressed by Chef Christia's talent, her story, and her commitment to showcasing the richness of Filipino cuisine. The appointment sent shockwaves through the culinary world and beyond. Here was a young immigrant woman, a proud Filipina, shattering glass ceilings and redefining what it meant to be a chef at the highest level. Chef Christia Santos's appointment as White House executive chef wasn't just a personal triumph. It was a victory for immigrants, for women, for people of color, for anyone who dared to dream beyond the confines of their circumstances. Her story resonated across the globe, a beacon of hope and inspiration. She proved that with talent, hard work, and a dash of courage, anything is possible. Food has the power to connect us, to bridge cultures, and to build understanding in ways that words sometimes cannot. Across continents and generations, food has always been a universal language, one that speaks of home, of family, and of belonging. When we gather around a table, we share more than just a meal, we share stories, laughter, and memories. The act of breaking bread together is a timeless tradition that brings people closer, dissolving barriers and creating bonds that last a lifetime. As Chef Christia stood in the White House kitchen, she felt the weight and the honor of her role. She was not just preparing food for distinguished guests, she was representing her culture, her people, and her roots. The kitchen, bustling with energy and anticipation, became her stage, a place where she could express her creativity and her identity through every dish she crafted. She knew that her food was more than just a meal, it was a message. Each plate was a canvas, each ingredient a brushstroke, painting a picture of her heritage and her journey. Through her cooking, she could share the flavors and traditions of the Philippines, inviting others to experience the richness of her homeland. It was a platform for sharing her heritage, her story, and the values she holds dear. With every dish, she offered a piece of herself, a glimpse into the culture that shaped her, the family recipes passed down through generations, and the memories of celebrations back home. Her food became a bridge, connecting her past to the present and inviting others to walk across. And her message was one of unity. Every dish she created, every ingredient she used, told a story of resilience, of hope, and of the beauty that comes from diversity. The vibrant colors and bold flavors of Filipino cuisine spoke of a land rich in history and tradition, yet open to new influences and ideas. Her food was an invitation to the world to experience the warmth, the generosity, and the spirit of togetherness that define Filipino hospitality. Each shared meal became a celebration, a moment to savor not just the food but the company, the laughter, and the stories that filled the room. The vibrant flavors of the Philippines, sweet, sour, salty, and savory, came together in harmony, reflecting the diversity and unity of its people. From adobo to sinigang, each dish was a testament to the creativity and resilience of a culture shaped by centuries of history and a spirit of openness. It was a reminder that despite our differences, whether in language, background, or beliefs, we are united by our common humanity. The simple act of sharing a meal can break down walls, foster understanding, and create friendships that transcend borders. We are united by our love for good food, by the joy of coming together, and by the hope that each new day brings. Around the table, we find common ground, and in each other, we find inspiration. Food reminds us that we all have stories worth sharing and dreams worth pursuing. It teaches us to celebrate our differences while cherishing the values we share. In every shared meal there is hope for a brighter, more united future, one where we come together, not just as guests at a table but as members of a global family.